Hi everyone. So today we are doing the what is a Gen AI and how the Gen AI will be work. So generative AI and generative artificial intelligence we are seeing for the Gen AI. So basically, what is a Gen AI? Gen AI is the artificial intelligence and that can create a new content such as a text, images, music, audio, video, and it's powered by a large AI models and called a foundation models that can perform the variety of tasks like including summarization, question and answer, classification. It's a classical example like we have ChatGPT and the uh, uh, Gemini, Google Gemini is a good example for the Gen AI models nowadays. So how the generative AI work? So because this is we have two types of AI nowadays, traditional AI and the Gen AI. So AI and the Gen AI, how they are linked, how they are work together. So we'll see here. So generative AI. So AI, it's enable a machine to mimic a human intelligence, and ML is basically a subset of AI, and that empower the machine to learn by itself. And then we have a generative AI, and this is a part of deep learning. And the generative AI learns the patterns from existing training data and produce a new unique output. And that is the and then in the part of the deep learning is a basically is a subset of ML and enable the operations of multi-layer neural network with the possibles. So, what is the contribution of ML in the generative AI? So, first is learning from a data. So, like ChatGPT and Google Gemini is how they are work. They are learn from our data. We are giving our data and they are learn. So, learning from data, then understanding the pattern, the relationship. So, generative AI is basically is a unsupervised learning. We are using the transformers in that one. So the learning to uncover patterns and relationship, it helped to generative AI models to generate a new content from the unlabeled data. So in the generative AI, we are giving the text, we are giving images, we are giving audio, we are giving video. The learning from our data, and that are all are the unlabeled data. So and then the adaptability and the improvements in generative AI, basically it's very important because the continuous improvements we need our LLM models like the chatbot, like they need the continuous improvements. They learn from our data whatever we are writing in a chat. So generative AI models is reinforcement learning to refine their output based on the feedback and rewards. Like ChatGPT, in fact, of user reinforcement learning and the human feedback that involves a small increment of human feedback and refine the agent's learning process and optimization model parameters. So generative AI's model basically use a ML optimization technique for fine tuning the model, fine tune the parameters. It enhance the performance and can generate the accurate content. Then we have a transfer learning. So transfer learning is basically is used for pre-train their model. Okay, it's help the model to accelerate the learning for a specific content and generation. So generative models. So how the generative models? The we take the one example of the generative models. We have many models. Like first we are taking the Bayesian network. So how the Bayesian network work? You heard about the Bayesian network in the ML, but in the Bayesian network we have in the generative models also. And the Bayesian network is a probabilistic graphical model that represents a set of variables and their conditions and dependency via directed acyclic graph. Okay, DAG. So DAG is very important term in the generative models. If you heard about that directed acyclic graph. So in a generative model, the context of Bayesian network that can be used to model to joint up probability and distribution of the random variables. Okay, so how it will work, we will see in this example. Suppose we have three variables like weather, sprinkler, and the wet grass. Okay, so three variables we have and the network. So how we will create this graph? So like weather is sprinkler and the weather is wet grass. So like how you can relate with this? So this is all the probability will be work in the Bayesian theorem, in the Bayesian network. And we have the words, and we have the vector, we have the vectors in that model. Like weather and sunny is like 0. 0.7, and weather and rainy is 0.3, is a vector of that weight of that word, or weight of that probability in the theorem. So how it will work? So like we are taking the probability of weather and sunny is 0.7, and the if we are taking the weather and rainy and is 0.3, because the weather is sunny, so rain is not possible, but is weather is sunny, so maybe it's possible we have a rain. Okay, so we are thinking about the mainly for the probability. Okay, so cloudy weather, we can say weather with cloud, and the probability will become around 0.8, maybe that will be a rainy. So this is how the probability works. Like sprinkler and the weather is sunny, so 0.4, the probability is 0.4, and sprinkler and on and the weather is rainy, so its probability is 0.01. So this is how the probability work in the Bayesian network. And the we can use this Bayesian network as a generative model, so we can use in the uh, real life project. If you want to do, like we have the medical diagnosis. So if given symptoms, so let's suppose if you giving the some symptoms, and uh, we need to generate a possible disease with the probabilities. We have I will give the example for the how it will work. So like this is the example for the this one. Like we have a disease like fever, cough, and the what is the test results. Okay, so like if we have a fever, so what kind of probability is there? So I created this with the generative AI model, the Bayesian theorem. And like we have the diseases, fever, and the coughing and test results. So like if we have a cough, so result is test is showing 1. Okay, if you have a fever, okay, so we can take the most more example like this. So like this Bayesian theorem like work on this kind of data. Okay, so if you have the medical in the terms, if you want to check how the relationship between the two diseases, and what will be outcome of that disease with that one, so probability we can use in that one. And speech recognition, so it can model that relationship between the how the that signals will be work, how that waves is coming. We have some waves in the speech recognition. So like is sad, is angry, and is emotional. So we can take the probability basically in the speech recognition also. So we can do this speech recognition using this Bayesian theorem. And the robotics, so it can simulate the how the sensors and the how the certain conditions. So the people are emotional outside, so they can think. So all the probability, whenever you're using the probability uh, problem, so you can use a Bayesian network for the in the generative AI model, and the drag there. So this is all about the Bayesian network in the generative model. So next video will be more about more generative models will come. Thank you guys.